Welcome. I am Bruce Williams with Prep Hoops, your Nevada boys high school basketball content writer, exposure scout, and rankings expert. The season is here. Today we're going to take a look at our top 4 local games of the week, our top 3 players to watch, and we're going to break down our Ball Dogs Prep Hoops Game of the Week. But first, let's recap a little of the action from last week. The Bulldogs Thanksgiving Classic, hosted by Centennial High School, took place this week. The event features some of the local B team and JV teams here in the city of Las Vegas. Let's give a big shout out and congratulations to Cimarron Spartans for taking home the B championship game. The MVP for Cimarron was 6'1" power forward Gerald Patterson. The lefty was scoring around the rim, and he held it down all weekend for the Spartans. Bishop Gorman High School took home the JV bracket championship. They were led by 6'1" point guard Nick Jefferson, played well all week, showed the ability to finish through contact, leading the Bishop Gorman Gales to the championship of the JV bracket at the Bulldog Thanksgiving Classic hosted by Centennial. The other big news of the week was the big matchup. I was on the floor for the matchup between the potential number 1 and number 2 picks in the draft. Chet Holmgren, the 7'2" center from Minneapolis who plays for Gonzaga, and Paolo Banchero, the 6'10" super skilled power forward from Seattle, Washington, who plays for the University of Duke. First, I'd like to say the game was amazing. The atmosphere inside the building was electric. It felt closer to a Final Four game than it did a regular season, preseason tournament. As for the matchup, I personally thought it was a draw. I thought both players showed why they deserved to be the number 1 pick. Chet Holmgren finished with 16 and 7, and he flashed his skill set. With a man that size, with the ability to put the ball down and create plays, it's just remarkable. Every time I see him in person, I marvel at his skill. I truly believe he would be a Division I player if he was 6'2" instead of 7'2". I know it's easy to criticize his frame, but I think that if people are looking at him for what he is and not what they want him to be, then someone is going to take him with the number 1 pick. And on the other side, Paolo was just absolutely phenomenal in the first half of the game, showed why he's NBA ready now. He finished with 21 and 5. His ball skills for a man with that frame is just absolutely tremendous. I did think that he did a good job of using ball screens to find the matchup that he liked. I went and broke down the film, and Paolo and Chet actually only matched up with each other a handful of times throughout the game. Most of Paolo's damage was done against Antoine Watson and Drew Timme. Nevertheless, with his size, physicality, athleticism, skill, and frame, I can easily see why people would take Paolo with the number 1 pick. So that's the wrap-up of the week. We will be right back, and we will go into our segment breaking down our tops for this coming week. Moving on, the high school season is underway. Our top 4 local games this week, coming in at number 4, the Palo Verde Panthers head on the road to take on the Las Vegas Wildcats. Should be an interesting matchup. Palo's led by first-year coach Michael Lloyd. I'm interested to see what rising freshman Andrew Miller does in his first varsity game. They will be taking on Coach Wilson and the Las Vegas Wildcats, who are led by our number 1 backcourt, Taviante Jackson and Ernest Brown. Jackson is a 6'1" point guard wizard. Ernest Brown is a 5'10" two-way combo guard. Should be an interesting matchup. Las Vegas has 4A championship aspirations, and matching up with 5A Palo should be a great test for them. Coming in at number 3, we head up to Reno, where Bishop Manogue goes on the road to take on an already 1-0 Carson Senator squad. Manogue is led by Silverado transfer Jordan Morency, a 6'2 scoring guard. He will have help with one of the best overall athletes in the entire state and 6'4 quarterback/wing Logan Howland. They will travel to face a very talented under-the-radar Carson squad featuring my man Parsa, I don't even want to butcher the last name, as well as rising junior DeCarlo Quintana. That will be this Tuesday. Coming in at game number 2 for our top 4 games is Faith Lutheran on the road to take on Basic this week. I was over at Basic High School last week. Coach Leonard Taylor has perhaps the most athletic and largest squad in 4A this year. They are geared up and ready to go. They will be taking on 5A opponent Faith Lutheran, who has a nice core group when you look at bouncy senior Jack Silberman, Eddie Moo Young, a 6'4 forward, as well as Nick Middlebrooks, a tough-as-nail forward for Faith Lutheran. Keep an eye out for rising sophomore Graydon Lemke in that game. The 6'6 stretch 4 is a very, very skilled player, brother of current Portland freshman Coleman Lemke. And the number 1 game for our top 4 games this week, oh, you already know, we will be there tonight at Spring Valley as the number 1 team in our 4A rankings. The Spring Valley Grizzlies open up with a tough contest. This could be a 4A championship game preview as Valley, led by Coach Willie Scott, enters into the Grizzlies' den to take on the number 1 squad. Valley is led by one of the toughest point guards in the state in 6-foot PG Naka Fabello. He is going to have a young but talented group running with him. 6'6 rising freshman Lonnie Bass will be playing tonight. He is a transfer from Rancho High School. Kevin Wilkins, also one of the rising freshmen in the class, will also be participating in the game for Valley. They are a deep talented team. Interested to see how David Poole plays tonight. Meanwhile, Spring Valley is loaded. They come in with our number 7th ranked player in our class of 2024, Elijah Adem, a rising sophomore, his handle is crazy, shoots it with range. He will have his big man, 6'5", pogo stick, Pharaoh. Don't call me baby Kyrie Compton. Compton has spent the good portion of the last year damaging rims throughout the West Coast. I know he's going to be excited. Atmosphere should be crazy inside the Grizzly den. That is our number 1 game to watch this week for our top 4 games. Now, our top 3 players to watch this week. Coming in at number 3, we head up north to Elko. Michael Kleekis, the 6'3 skilled small forward, is the current active leading scorer in the state. He will travel to Reno to take on 5A Reno. Interested to see how Kleekis comes out and performs. And then from there, he'll be headed up to Utah to participate in the Salt Lake City Holiday Tournament. Coming in at number 2, it's Aaron Price, the 6'7 bouncy forward from Liberty, will play Bonanza in what could be a warm-up to a huge matchup this week against Rancho Christian. Price is a certified Division I athlete. If he can show improved ball skills to anyone and perform well in the matchup against Rancho Christian, I firmly expect his stock to rise. And then coming in at our number 1 player to watch, you better get familiar with the name. It's Taviante Jackson, the 6'1 guard for Las Vegas. All eyes will be on him not only this week but this season as he looks to carry Las Vegas to the 4A crown. He'll open up hosting El Dorado on Monday night before getting ready for the big matchup with Palo Verde. When we come back, we are going to break down this week's Game of the Week. Oh, we are back. It's time to talk a little Game of the Week action. As you know, if you follow us on Twitter, every week we nominate 4 games to be voted on. We let you, the fans, vote which game you want to see us attend. That's the Ball Dog Prep Hoops Nevada game of the week. For this week, the game that was selected was number 4, Cheyenne, traveling on the road to take on crosstown North Las Vegas rival, the Mojave Rattlers. Mojave is geeked up for this game. The snake pit should be amazing. This is going to be a really, really good matchup. I'm hearing that this is kind of a little brother versus big brother dynamic. I'll let you figure out which is which. Should be a really, really good game. The youth of Mojave will be interesting to see how well a lot of these young players who will be getting their first taste of varsity action play. They'll be doing this in a game that's going to be dripping with emotion and passion. I'm curious to see if they can keep their composure and if they can withstand the runs that will come. It'll also be interesting to see how the experience of Cheyenne breaks out. Unlike a lot of teams, Cheyenne has not only 2 seniors that have had a lot of experience and playing time in their career, but they also had the luxury of having a lot of juniors who played together on their freshman team. They're led by Coach Terrell Fair, who's one of the top in-game coaches we have here in the state. I'm curious to see who is the team that can keep their emotions under control and that can execute well. Now, in this game, there are several ranked players that I'll be keeping an eye on. When you talk about Cheyenne, you got to go right to the 2 studs, Donovan Webster and Andrew Centillion. Webster, 6'4", shooting guard, is one of the bouncier athletes we have here in the state. He can be one of the top 3-and-D players when he's consistently knocking down his outside shot. As for Andrew Centillion, I'm really, really interested to see what he's going to do with the ball in his hand a little more. A couple of years ago, he played alongside Oregon State freshman Glenn Taylor, and he didn't dominate the ball as much as I know he would have liked to. I'm sure he's going to see more opportunities to touch the ball. He's super, super skilled. He has great size for his position, and he passes the ball well. Interested to see if he's the type of player that can impact this game, regardless if he's scoring or not. Also staying with Cheyenne, I've got to see stock riser / sleeper David Tenner. A lot of rumblings around the city that this kid's one of the best R&J athletes that we have in the city, and you know how I love my R&J athletes. So this will be my first look at David Tenner. Not only do people around the city talk well about him, but Coach Terrell Fair has also spoken highly of this player. Now, sliding over to Mojave, there's a few players that I want to take a look at, and first and foremost would be one of our current sophomore stock risers, Jamirian J-Man Smith. The wing is going to be playing a lot on the top in Mojave's pressure defense. He showed a great ability to score in transition and turn defense into offense when I saw him in the fall league for the Rattlers. Interested to see if he can keep up the consistent play. And then also TJ McTire. Interested in seeing how TJ plays in this being his first varsity game. I really think that the Rattlers are going to need somebody from that point guard position to basically get that team organized and calm them down and get them into good shots at key points in the game. So he'll be a player that I'll be keeping an eye on. Now, I've got 3 potential breakout players from this game for you. Coming in at number 3 is Tony Williams, a 5'11" point guard for Mojave. He is a class of 2024. I'm kind of going out on a limb a little bit for this one, but I do think Williams will see some minutes. He has the ability to shoot the ball, especially from the corners. If he makes 2 or 3 of those, this entire game changes. So he has the potential to be a breakout player. My number 2 breakout player is Gialli Chapman. The 6'1" combo guard is a junior. I am really excited to see the number 18 player in our Prep Hoops class of 2023 rankings play in his first varsity action. Played well as a freshman on the freshman team for Centennial. Now he's being thrown into the fire. He has the tools to put up big numbers in a game like this. So I'm interested to see if he can be one of our breakout players. And our number 1 breakout player, who else? It's David Tenner, 6'3" leaper for Cheyenne. I have never laid eyes on Mr. Tenner, but so many people speak highly of him. Interested to see how he performs under the bright lights. And finally, as far as players, our top underclassmen for this game, easy pick, it's going to be C.J. Shaw. The 6'3" shooting guard from Mojave really impressed me during the fall league with his ability to defend point guards as well as his downhill aggressive driving ability. I'm interested to see if he can get some buckets on his own. I'm guessing there's going to be several different ISOs throughout the game. If Shaw can show that he can break some of these defenders down and get into the lane, it's going to change the game in a lot of aspects. And then I want to see if he defends as well as he did when I saw him this fall. He's the top underclassman I'm taking a look at the game. Now for my prediction. I went back and forth on this one. I think that it's going to be a low-scoring game. I do think that the experience of Cheyenne is going to weigh heavily on the outcome. Mojave is a good team. They're ranked number 6 in our Prep Hoops Nevada rankings, but I do think opening up under this environment may be just a little bit too much too soon. I'm going with the Cheyenne Desert Shields to get out of the snake pit with a 55-49 win. We will be back to wrap. And finally, wrapping up, I will be at Spring Valley on Monday for the Big Valley versus Spring Valley contest. On Tuesday, you know where I'm going to be. I'll be in the Snake Pit at Mojave for the game of the week as they host North Las Vegas rival Cheyenne. This weekend, I will be up in Reno for the Wild West Shootout. Big thank you to Coach Ballinger and all the people putting that event on. You can follow me on at 7-Ounce B-Ball Club 1 on Twitter. Go to IG and look for Bruce Prep Hoops. Go like the Prep Hoops Nevada Facebook page if you're looking for consistent, up-to-the-date information about Las Vegas high school basketball. As always, if you can't find me there, you can definitely find me in the gym. Catch you next time.